Good morning, students. In the series of lectures on the subject VLSI design, this is lecture number 3. In this lecture, we will discuss MOS transistors. Okay, let's start the discussion. This is the basic structure of a MOS transistor. Okay. So here in this transistor, the transistor on the left side is your enhancement MOSFET, and transistor on right side is depletion MOSFET. The basic difference between the constructions of these two MOSFETs is that enhancement MOSFET does not have a pre-existing channel, while depletion MOSFET has a pre-existing channel. Okay? MOSFET is a four-terminal device. Okay, basically this MOSFET is a N-channel enhancement MOSFET. Okay, this is N-channel enhancement MOSFET. MOSFET is a four-terminal device. One terminal is source terminal, and gate terminal, drain terminal, and the fourth terminal is body or bulk terminal. Basically, body terminal is internally connected to the source terminal. Okay. Now, this is the basic structural difference. Okay. So these two regions are there in a MOSFET. Okay, so these are basically very highly doped regions. Okay, so in N-channel MOSFET, whether it is depletion or it is enhancement, a P substrate is used on which two N plus divisions are made using diffusion process. Okay, then one of the terminal is drawn from here, that is called drain, and another terminal is drawn from here, that is called source. Okay, at the gate terminal, a silicon dioxide layer, insulating layer is used. Okay, so here above which a metal is used. Okay, or we can also use a polysilicon here. Okay, here we can also use polysilicon, and gate terminal is connected over here. This is the basic construction of a MOSFET. Now, let us consider the MOS capacitor, or you can say a gate capacitor. So how gate capacitor is formed here, you can easily see that. This is the two-dimensional diagram of a MOSFET. That is enhancement MOSFET we will discuss here. Okay, we will not discuss depletion MOSFET. We will consider only enhancement MOSFET. Right? So this is the cross-sectional front view of this MOSFET. If we see the three-dimensional view of this MOSFET and look at this region only, okay, then we will get a structure like this. Okay, so we are having a metal layer here, that is oxide, and below that is a p-type substrate. Okay, the thickness of oxide layer is TOX, length of this is L, and this width is W. So the capacitance of this MOS capacitor is given by epsilon A upon D, that is epsilon OX, permittivity of silicon dioxide, area of cross section WL, divided by thickness of oxide layer. Okay, so these two, metal and p-type substrate, are acting as the plates of capacitor, and oxide is acted as insulator between these plates. Okay, dielectric material. Now let us consider the operation of this MOS capacitor, effects of biasing on MOS capacitor. Okay, so first of all, let us apply a negative voltage here. So if we apply a negative voltage here, okay, so because this is a dielectric layer, so positive ions will accumulate here and negative ions will accumulate below because this is a dielectric. Due to these negative ions, holes from P substrate will be attracted towards oxide layer. Okay, so the accumulation of holes takes place. The accumulation of holes takes place beneath the oxide layer, below the oxide layer. So this process is known as accumulation. Okay, this process is known as accumulation. So in case of accumulation, we are having a negative plate here and positive plate having positive charge here, and in between this we are having a solid silicon dioxide layer. So it will form a capacitance, and this capacitance will nearly remain constant as far as the input is negative. Okay, now if a small positive bias is applied at the gate terminal, okay, then what will happen? Remember, this is a small positive bias. So due to this small positive bias, negative charge in the oxide layer will accumulate above and positive charge will accumulate below. Due to this positive charge, the holes below the oxide layer will be repelled towards the P substrate. Okay, as the hole leave this region, as the holes leave this region, okay, we will get immobile ions left here. Okay, so many immobile ions will be left here as the hole will leave this. Okay, so due to these immobile ions, a depletion layer is formed here. A depletion layer is formed here. Okay, so due to this depletion reason, the effective material between the two plates of capacitor is having a width d, which is obviously greater than width of oxide layer. So we know that the capacitance is inversely proportional to the distance between plates, or you can say the width of dielectric. So if the width is increasing, capacitance will decrease. Okay, so this process is known as depletion, and as you can see here that in this region, as the applied voltage across base terminal is low, the capacitance is decreased. Okay, so as we increase a voltage above this point, you can see that capacitance is increased. Why? Because by applying the large positive potential at the gate terminal, okay, so electrons from the substrate, these electrons from the substrate will have enough attraction force so that they will come here towards oxide layer, and electrons will start to fill this region. Okay, electrons will start to fill this region. Okay, so this process is known as inversion process. Okay, so initially that was positive charge here. By applying polar positive bias, this positive charge is replaced by negative charge. That's why it is known as inversion process. And in this case, as you can see, the effective width is again TOF. So the capacitance is also increased. So here the capacitance is increased. Okay. So this is the effect of gate biasing on MOS capacitor. Okay. This is basically important to understand the working of MOSFET. These are basically the symbols of MOSFET. So the above here are the symbols of enhancement MOSFET, and below are the symbols for depletion MOSFET. Okay. So here you can see these points, these notations. This is the symbol of a N-channel enhancement MOSFET. This is the symbol of a E-channel enhancement MOSFET. This is the symbol of a N-channel depletion MOSFET, and this is the symbol of a P-channel depletion MOSFET. Okay. Now let us start by having the working of MOSFET. So we will study the working of a N-channel enhancement MOSFET. Okay. So in this case, you can easily see that when VGS is less than 0, when VGS is less than 0, in this case, positive holes will accumulate here. Okay. So whatever voltage you are applying here, because this is a N-channel enhancement MOSFET, so you need to have a N-channel here. Okay. But there are holes, so no current will be drawn here. So in this case, drain current will be 0. Drain current will be 0. Now, how the depletion region is formed? When VGS is greater than 0 and less than a voltage that is known as threshold voltage. If VGS is less than threshold voltage but greater than 0, a depletion layer will be formed. Okay, exactly same as we discussed previously in this case. Okay. Now, as VGS is greater than VT, then electrons from the substrate will starts to accumulate beneath the oxide region, and a N channel will be formed. And if you apply a positive potential at gate drain terminal, now these electrons will be moved from source to drain, and a drain current will starts to flow, whose direction will be from drain to source. This is your drain current. Okay, so this is the very basic one. So drain current will not flow in these two cases. It will flow in this case only. Okay, and so the required condition for current to flow is that the gate voltage with respect to source should be greater than threshold voltage. And after that, we will consider the effect of drain voltage. Okay, so drain voltage here the voltage nothing but acts as the puller of these electrons. It is used to pull these electrons. Okay. Now, as you can see here, in this case, first case, VGS1 is greater than threshold voltage. So obviously a channel is formed here. Okay. So if we apply a positive drain voltage, a small drain voltage, a small positive VDS if we apply here, so this is obviously a small value. Okay. So this is a small VDS that we are applying here. So these electrons will start to move from here to here. Okay, and so that a drain current will starts to flow. So in case as you increase VDS, more and more electrons will move from source to drain, and hence drain current will increase linearly. Okay, so here drain current is increasing linearly. Why increasing linearly? Because the resistance of this channel is uniform in this case. Okay, channel is uniform from source to drain. That's why resistance of channel is also remaining constant. That's why we are getting a linear curve between ID and VDS. Okay. Now, if we apply VGS2 here, VGS2 here. So obviously, if VGS2 is greater than VGS1 that we applied here, so in case if we were applying VGS1 here, so this N channels, number of electron in this channel will be more in comparison with this. Okay, that's why more drain current will also flow in this case. So this is the case of this. Okay, and again if we apply VGS3 here again, then we will get a more drain current like this. Okay, so as we increase VGS, we get these curves. Drain current also increases, but it increases linearly as far as we have a small VDS values. Okay. Now, as VGS is increased above some certain value, okay, and what is that value? As VDS is increased further, okay, then you can see that this is your VDS that you are applying here, and here if I connect it to ground, so here the voltage is almost zero. So if I'm increasing the voltage from here to here, so going along the channel voltage is increasing, and another voltage is acting, that is your gate voltage here. This is applying. Okay, so gate voltage is here, and VDS is here increasing. So if I consider any 2 points in the length of channel, let's say this is the one point, this is another point. So obviously here the voltage is low, and here voltage is high. Okay, here voltage is low and here voltage is high. Okay, so as here voltage is low, here voltage is high, so we can this voltage is nothing but your VDS. Okay, now the effective voltage across the channel, if I see here, is VGS minus VDS, that is VGD, that is VGD, VGS minus VDS. Okay, so effective voltage, if I go from source to drain across the channel, this effective voltage is decreasing because VDS is increasing. What is happening with VGS minus VDS? As I am going along the channel, so VGS is constant but VDS is increasing, so this effective voltage overall is decreasing. So this effective voltage is decreasing, that's why the width of channel from here, because this effective voltage is larger here, will be higher, and if I go along the channel, the effective width is continuously reducing. Now the resistance of the channel is no longer constant. Okay, so it's changing. Okay, so as far as the low value of VDS is concerned, we were having linear curve, But as VDS is increased beyond some certain values, we will have some opposition, more and more opposition as we increase VDS. Okay, so we will get a curved shape like this. Okay, so this is happening because of the change in channel dimensions like this. Okay, now this region, this particular region, uh, saturation regions occurs at the larger value of VDS. Now a situation will come when the channel will look like this. It will completely pinch off here. Okay, so when it will be occurring here, when the value of VDS is equal to VGS minus threshold voltage. If this condition comes, then pinch off will occur and current will be saturated. Okay, so starting linear region, then curved region, and after some value of VDS, and that is equal to VS minus VTH, we will have a saturated value of current. This particular region is known as your saturation region. This particular region is known as saturation region. Okay, so this region is your saturation region. Okay, so this is pinch off that is shown here. So you can see the diagram here. So for saturation region, the condition is that for saturation region condition is that VDS should be greater than VGS minus VT. And where the pinch off will occur? Pinch off will occur at VDS equal to VGS minus VT. When VDS is less than VGS minus VT, then we are having a triode region. Okay. Suppose this is the pinch off point, this is the pinch off point, and this is the pinch off point. Then we draw a line like this. So this region is your triode region. Okay. So these three curves are basically we are having for different values of VGS. This is a different value of VGS. So this is nothing but VGS1. This is nothing but VGS2, and this is nothing but VGS3. And obviously VGS3 is greater than VGS2. VGS2 is greater than VGS1. Okay. Now let us briefly discuss the working of MOSFET and derive the drain current equation. Okay. So this point we have already discussed. So when VGS is 0, no channel is formed between drain and source, so current is 0. Here we are discussing. So how to create a channel? In order to create a channel, VGS greater than VT should be applied. Okay, so channel will be formed here. Okay, so this is pretty simple case. This we have already discussed. So these all terms are we have discussed. Okay. Now we define a term that is known as overdrive voltage. So overdrive voltage is nothing but VGS minus VT. This is basically the effective voltage that is responsible for the charge accumulated in the MOS capacitor. Okay. So as you can see here, this is the capacitor that is formed that we have already discussed, MOS capacitor. The charge in the MOS capacitor is defined by this overdrive voltage, effective voltage, because the value of VGS up to VT, less than VT, will be consumed. Okay, and only If VGS is greater than VT, then the electrons will start to accumulate from P substrate towards the oxide layer. So this is the effective voltage that is responsible for charge. Okay, so if I want to calculate the charge in the channel Q, then Q is nothing but equal to CV. Okay, what is C? C is the Morse capacitance. So Morse capacitance will be defined in terms of COX. COX is the oxide layer capacitance per unit area. Okay, so if I multiply this by WL, then I am getting the complete capacitance of channel, and it is multiplied by the effective voltage over drive voltage. So this is the charge I am getting here. Okay, so COX, oxide layer capacitance per unit area. Okay, so this is nothing but epsilon OX upon TOX. Okay. Now, if I apply a small VDS, then the channel is linear. The shape of channel is not changing if I am applying a small VDS. Okay, so in that case, uh, electric field will be acted here because this is your VDS, this is your zero voltage. So electric field will act here. Okay, and we know that E is equal to V upon D, and we will further derivate it. So you can see here that what is the value of electric field. So electric field will be VDS upon length of the channel. What is the drift velocity of electrons that are moving? So Vd equals to mu E. You already know the formula. This is the drift velocity of the electrons. And now, what is the charge of the channel? That is this. We have already derived this. Now, what is the drain current? Drain current is nothing but charge Q upon T. And what is Q? What is T? What is T? T is the time. Okay. So T is equal to L upon V. We can say distance upon speed, because the speed by which an electron is traveling from source to drain is drift velocity. This is the average speed. Okay, and this is the length of channel. So what will be the time taken by electron to come from source to drain? That will be Vd upon L, average time. Okay, so by doing this, we can have T equals to L upon Vd. So if I put these values, I will get this. So now for a small VDS, the drain current is UNCOXW upon L. What is the overdrive voltage? That is your VGS minus VT into VDS. Okay. Now, if the value of these all terms are constant, okay, if the value of VGS is kept constant above VT, then ID is directly proportional to VDS. Okay, and as ID is directly proportional to VDS for small values of VDS, then we have a linear curve. Starting, we have a linear curve. Okay, so this linear curve basically defines this equation. So this linear curve that is starting at small values of VDS is defined by this equation. Okay. Now further, uh, let us again look at this equation. The term mu and COX W upon L. This is the parameter that is defined by Kn. Okay. So if I replace this by Kn, so drain current will be Kn Vgs minus Vth into Vds. Okay. So this is the equation for the small values of Vds, and it is obviously for this region, for this linear region. Okay. Now the term mu n into COS, that is denoted by Kn dash. This is known as process transconductance parameter. Okay, so Kn is nothing but equal to Kn dash into W upon L. So we can use any of the notations, any of the simplification notation, whether we want to use Kn, whether we want to use Kn dash. Okay, it's up to the student. Now, as we increase the value of VDS that we have already discussed, the channel length, the channel will look like this. Okay. Now the effective voltage will not be overdrive voltage at all, but it will be your value of effective voltage will be overdrive voltage. Effective voltage will be overdrive voltage minus half of VDS. Okay. So in this case, if as VDS is increased, we will have to consider the effect of VDS. Okay, so we did not consider the effect of VDS in case when VDS was small. But if VDS is increased to a considerable value, then we will have to consider the effect of VDS. And the effect of VDS, we will take the average of that because the VDS here is at the drain terminal is VDS. Here it is 0. So we will take average of that, that is half of VDS. So the effective voltage will be your overdrive voltage minus half of VDS. Okay, so this will be the voltage here. Okay. So as you can easily see for this case also, this is the source, this is the drain point, this is your complete length of channel. The midpoint of this is L by 2. Okay. Now let us consider this voltage is VGS. So this is the line VGS. Okay. This is your threshold voltage. So this line is your overdrive voltage. Okay. So at half point, the value of VDS will be VDS by 2. So the effective voltage across the channel will be V overdrive voltage minus VDS by 2. Okay. As you can see here that the overdrive voltage, effective voltage across the channel is okay, V overdrive voltage minus VDS by 2. So this equation we need to consider in case of calculating the charge. Okay. Now, in case of calculating, everything will be same. The only difference will be that while calculating the charge, we will use COXWL VOV minus half VDS. We will use. Okay. Previously, we used only what? Overdrive voltage only, but here we will use this. Rest things will be same, and by solving this, we will get expression like this. Okay, so you can see that here, this is the exponential equation between ID and your VDS. Okay, and now by looking at this equation, you will get initially you are getting linear line. The equation of this line we have already derived. But now, as VDS is increased, we will have a curve shape like this. So this equation basically defines this curve shape. Okay. Now, as If I put VDS equal to VGS minus VT here, so I am getting this expression half Kn VGS minus VT whole square. Okay, so here you can see that ID is not depending upon VDS. Okay, so if VGS, VT and Kn all are constant, then I am getting a straight line over here. So it will not depend upon VDS. Okay, that's why the curve beyond the saturation, oh sorry, beyond the pinch off region looks like that we discussed here. So this is the curve, okay, for constant value of drain current. This is the region for curve shape, and this is the region for linear. Okay, so three equations we derive for this region for small values of VDS. As VDS increase, we get this curve shape, and as VDS is equal to VGS minus VT, then we get this. Okay, so this is your derivation of drain current. Okay, so these are the MOSFET VI characteristics as you have seen. Okay, here you will ask that this region beyond the pinch off region, we are not having a line parallel to this axis. The reason for this will be discussed later, and it is another topic that is called channel length modulation. Okay, so ideally it should be like this. It should be a straight line parallel to the horizontal axis, like this. But practically we obtain like this. Okay, so this is another topic that is your channel length modulation. We will discuss this later. So this curve between drain current and VDS is known as drain curve, and there is another curve between drain current and VGS, ID and VGS. This is known as your transfer curve. Okay. So as you can see that as far as VGS value is less than threshold voltage, okay, so drain current in that case is 0. Okay, as the value of VGS increased above threshold voltage, drain current is also increased. Okay, so this is the case. So this is all about this lecture. Okay, in next lecture we will continue studying MOS transistors.